Hello and welcome to Goa 365 post national budget discussion. Now I am here with members of the GCCI, the Prime Business Association of the state, and we will be discussing the various aspects of the budget which was just presented. Now with us, I would like to start off by introducing the president of the GCCI, Mr. Ralph, welcome to our show. After that is Mr. Dean Menezes from the CMN group. Then Manoj Kakalo, the immediate past president of the GCCI. Rohan Bhandari, chartered accountant and chairman of the taxation committee. And Gaurav Engre, chartered accountant, vice chairman of the CA association. Now, I would like to start off with the president. Will you give us an overall general what you feel about the budget? Is it a populist budget, a feel-good budget, very logical budget?
Well, we feel that it is a balanced and a good budget. We have to realize first that 5 states of India are coming for elections. And normally in situations like this, we have a populist budget that is more voter-oriented. But this time we saw there was absolutely nothing of this. It was totally towards consolidation of what we have achieved and development. We have completed 75 years of independence. We are moving towards the century. So this is going to be a budget in continuity to make sure that India grows from year to year and reaches its goals that it has got for it. In this budget, certain importance has been laid on primary sectors. These are the foundations on which the economy of the country depend on. One is the infrastructure. A lot of budgetary allowances have been made to upgrade and to introduce new aspects in this particular sector. Then we also have the connectivity, the logistics, which again have received a lot of encouragement and a roadmap for further growth. With 25,000 kilometers of new highways, we've got 3,000 kilometers of railways that are going to be added, and so many different logistic hubs that are coming all over. Now, these 2 sectors of the economy are very important, basis on which the entire economy can depend on to have a boost. There have been other things also as far as personal taxes is concerned. There have not been any increase in taxes. Last year also there was no increase in taxes. Normally in a difficult economic situation like the pandemic, we have to mop up revenues from somewhere or the other. But both last year as well as this year, they did not resort to the individuals putting their hands in their pockets. The center has realized that the common man also has been hit. Secondly, we have also seen that the slabs also have not changed. Slabs remain the same. Then, other benefits, reliefs are, if you have filed a return and if there are some errors or some additions, some omissions, one can do that for 2 years and you can get it rectified with no penalties. Whatever dues pay, maybe some interest, pay and finish off. This will help a lot.
So with details of these things we can go into later. So I would like to go to Dean. Dean, what do you feel are the important points in this budget, especially relating to your field?
So actually the budget actually very surprises me, and I'm extremely happy considering that it's coming after 2 years of pandemic and the country has gone through a really difficult time. There are a couple of things I want to specifically state is the emphasis on infrastructure. Infrastructure program. The second thing is that it's not a populist budget. We been used to seeing in the past. Specifically, in this budget is a reflection of the sign, is a reflection of the sign of the times. There is a lot of initiatives in technology. So there's something for startups. There's digitization of banks. There's something in the solar panels. There is electric vehicles. There is digitization of education. So there are so many aspects that has gone and so much of detail that has gone into it. That I think it's a really great budget with lots and lots of initiatives across different areas. I've not listed everything, but there are plenty of things like urban renewal, urbanization, which is a serious problem. Our cities are decaying, and there is some amount of effort being put here. So I think it's a great, well thought out budget.
Manoj, now you and Dean, both of you all are in retail as such. So could you be a little more, get into that? How will that, especially given the background of the
Yes, I think, Glenn, I would like to look at this budget is besides the financial aspect or economic aspect, it is sending a very, very strong positive signal from the government.
Okay.
Because they have suffered quite a lot as far as pandemic is concerned. People have suffered socially, people have suffered economically, or economy has suffered, all sectors have suffered. So I think the roadmap which is shown over here is that for the next 25 years, from 75 years of independence to 100 years. And as far as the expected growth of over 9% is expected this year, I think what is more important is that finance minister and the government is sending a message that probably the worst is over. Let's look at the things positively. I'll give you a few examples of why I'm saying this. In the middle of the speech, which was not a part of the speech, she made a specific mention of the GST collection, which is normally not the practice. So she made a point to convey to everybody that we have the highest ever GST collection of 1.4 lakh crores. Now, of course, it could be partly because of some arrears which are collected now, but it also goes to show that, contrary to our belief that economy is not doing good, business is not doing good, people are affected because of COVID. If all this thing was true, then how did this GST collection come up? So I think it is very important that we read the message which is sent over here, that things are improving. Let us not get into the shell. Let us start moving out. Of course, with restrictions, whatever the government has put in about all that thing. But let's not, I think, get overly hyped or feared about it. A lot of countries in the world have already declared that it's almost the end of the pandemic. I think it's time India needs to do that. And this is the first step I think the government has taken, albeit in a little different direction, by conveying to everybody that our economy is on the upswing. They've given a lot of benefits to everybody. In the same breath, they are not giving out doles. They are not giving out doles. So it's very important that we understand. It's very important that we understand that the government is sending a very positive message to all us Indians over here that we have to come out over here, we have to help the economy. Government is trying to do their best. Now talking about the retail sector, I'll tell you,
as all over the country, till December and January 1st week, everything was going on very, very fine. We had almost reached pre-COVID levels, including the hospitality and the allied services. Unfortunately, the fear of the so-called third wave came in. More than people getting infected with the virus, I think it was
psychological barrier which was created. And I think to an extent, these people who are getting directly benefited with this testing and the kits and the medical fraternity and all that, unfortunately, this is what is creating the fear. But I think that public is coming out of this side. People have started going out. And like what has been done in Europe and a lot of other countries in Europe, and probably it will happen in Canada and US as well soon, we need to think positively that it is just a flu. Of course, I am not medical expert to comment on it, but I think if a good chunk of so-called developed nations are saying something of that sort, I think why not we follow that? And we help our economy to grow, we help the retail sector, we help the hospitality sector grow. Because the budget has sent more than positive notes that our economy is going north, and we as Indians need to come out and support the economy.
Well, now that's also important. Of course, few precautions here and especially in closed room. It probably can be kept if a person has symptoms. Absolutely, but I agree because ultimately hunger and lack of money and opportunities will probably kill much
more people will die because of that.
Exactly. Yeah, Rohan. Now I would like to get into like specifics of some of the the direct tax, indirect tax, or anything that you have found important.
So, at the precursor of the budget, you must have seen that the direct tax as well as indirect taxation have reached a very high figure compared to the year-on-year figures. In fact, the GST is at 1.41 lakh crores, at the highest. So, because of this kind of a 30% increase in the direct taxation and a kind of a more than 1 lakh crore per month of GST collections that were happening, we got a bit of a room here in the fiscal deficit, and this is where we could actually target the infrastructure. Okay, and infrastructure always gives you that kind of a multiplier effect. As far as the actual provisions of the direct taxes were concerned, as we say, no bad news is good news. So there were always rumors of a wealth tax coming in, of an estate tax coming in, some sort of COVID cess coming in because of the vaccination costs. But it's very heartening to see that our honorable finance minister has not made any kind of changes in the tax slabs. Okay, in fact, for some of the surcharges which were there, some relating to the AOP, some relating to some corporate, they have given a kind of a small kind of a reduction in those ones. And the government has been very clear that they can keep these kind of tax slabs because the way they are doing, the way they are investing in technology. Because they invest in technology, even with the same kind of this thing, they are able to see a higher collection.
Yeah, Gaurav, I would like you to give us something which you feel important. Maybe what could be done, what has been done, what you feel.
Thank you so much. I think as most of the panelists have touched upon, it's a very positive budget. They have given a lot of stimulus for MSMEs. So one of the non-financial stimulus which may translate into financial gains later on is the combination of various MSME portals. They have the Udyam portal, they have got several portals. They want to combine them into a single platform and roll out various credit schemes, skilling schemes and employment schemes to this. Secondly, the financial side is very important, especially from a Goan perspective. The finance minister touched upon the most hit sector of the industry of tourism, and she made a specific point that the emergency loan scheme which was brought out for during COVID will be extended till March 23 and it will be covering only tourism sector in the extension. Around 50,000 crores are being allocated only for the tourism sector.
Could you explain that the emergency, what does it entail
so
exactly?
This basically means that wherever there was a cash crunch for the tourism sector industries, they were giving us a top-up loan over and above the existing borrowings, just to tide them over the COVID situation. So now this, there is a top-up for the top-up. They are adding 50,000 crores more to that pool, so the hospitality industry can use that and really stand up strong. As sir said already, the industry is on the way back and this will certainly help them much ahead. Even the CGTMSE scheme which gives collateral-free borrowings, even that they are looking at revamping. And one more important point regarding cash flow, whenever suppliers deal with the government bodies, they are expected to give bank guarantees. Bank guarantees entail a cash flow blockage, maybe I have to keep an FD or something towards the bank guarantee fulfillment. Now they want to move to an advanced model of surety bonds. There are advanced countries like Australia, Europe, etc. already working on this model where there is no cash flow implication. The other indirect booster shot to the economy will be the capital expenditure. We are looking at almost 2.9% of the GDP being spent on capital expenditure. This was just 1.7% around 10 years ago and it has come to 2.5 in the last year, but we are looking at 2.9% now. So this will have a ripple effect across industry, it will create a lot of jobs, boost the businesses. So this I think is going to provide a much needed support to industry at large.
Yeah, okay. Thanks Gaurav. Now Ram, I would like to get back to you because besides being the head of the GCCI, you are also basically a tourism hospitality man. So and for Goa, hospitality has taken a major hit. So you feel and this thing is going to help. I know that Gaurav had spoken about the top up, but some more details, how will it help?
See, as I always say, hospitality industry is first to be hit by any pandemic, any revolution, any war, any type of an eventuality, maybe natural or man-made, any calamity, and last to recover. That's what is happening now. So, how this budget is going to help is, one way is the upgradation of infrastructure in terms of highways and rails. Gone are the days when ambassadors
and Fiat's running on the road. We have got good cars. Now with good roads, you see people driving down. So we've seen when the window was open between the two pandemics, Goa was full of tourists. And these were the domestic tourists. Of course, many of them came because international destinations were closed. But nonetheless, Goa is still must-see place. And people do like Goa. And we have repeat clientele. So with these new roads that are coming up and the new infrastructure in place, that will help Goa a lot. Also the rail, as I had said earlier, rail travel, this country travels on railways. With so many additional railways, upgradation of that, which is very important, we will see a lot of footfalls increasing in Goa from the domestic market. To give an example, I like to make a comparison with Spain. The largest number of travelers are from Spain, but almost all of them travel within the country, and they keep the prosperity of the economy within the country, the money within the country, and the economy has got a solid boost. We are hopeful that this thing will happen in Goa. Besides, the financial help is more than welcome. Because whenever you get moratorium over something, or when loans are restructured, your liabilities are postponed, not sorted out. So they just keep on mounting, or your spread goes on increasing. So it's like not as harsh, but something like sweeping the dirt under the carpet. It remains there. So with this type of help that is coming in, and we have to read the fine print to find out exactly what the schemes are about, anything is most welcome to help the hospitality industry.
Now, besides hospitality in Goa, what is also very, very important is retail. And for that you need confidence. Manoj has already spoken about that. So I would like to first Dean and then Manoj on that specific, that the retail and service, I mean leaving pharma, retail and service is what makes Goa basically tick besides hospitality. Dean.
Yeah, so the retail sector is a very large sector in the country and also in Goa. It employs millions of people.
Yes.
And it handles the last mile movement of goods from the stores to the customer. But the times are changing, and we will have to also change with the times, because with the advent of new technology and startups and companies like Amazon and Flipkart and Swiggy and the others, they are what you would call disrupting the way the business is done. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. Customers are given a greater choice of how they want to engage in the purchase of goods and services. So we have to change as retailers, and we also have to embrace the new models. And I think that's the way in the future. I think there will be a lot of economies that will come in. It will benefit the customer because he has greater choice and he will be able to have greater visibility on the price. But it will be a painful transition for retailers to go through, because many of them have been in this business for their entire life and they don't know anything else to do but this. And there are millions of people employed in the business. But the world is changing and we have to change. And one of the things that's happening in this scenario today is the change is now becoming very, very fast. So we will all have to adapt to that change.
I'll agree with Dean that the fact is that the retail sector is changing. But coming back to what has been done in the budget for the retail sector, you might not hear a mention of retail sector in the budget, but I think there is enough which is conveyed over here. Now take the simple case of reduction in customs duty on diamonds. That's going to help the jewelry market over here. The cost of diamonds will go down. So obviously the retails of diamonds should increase because the cost will go down. Another very important aspect is that, which will help the retail as well as it's like simple case like umbrellas. Majority of the umbrellas were getting imported from China and all these things. Yes, and now it's very good that government has imposed a 20% duty on umbrellas. So which will promote our local Indian made umbrellas. So this is something which I think has been indirectly done for. Then also the reduction in duty on the electronic components which go into manufacture of mobile phones and all these electronic items. That will promote manufacture and sale of these items within the country, which will again help retail. What is, I think, I would like to make another mention of over here is that it's customers who need to change as per the time. Whether they choose the e-commerce way or whether they choose the brick and mortar store, they need to choose where they get better service that is from the customer's point of view. But what is also important is that the brick and mortar store, the retailers also have to change with the times. They have to provide more and more customer service. And in this budget, I think the message is loud and clear that the economy is going up, as I said earlier. So retailers have to buck up because, till December, January, we had very good footfalls. And now I feel probably in the next 2 weeks post this election, carnival is over in the country, then we will definitely have economy of scale happening in the retail sector. People will start coming out, people will start buying stuff, because there was a time in December, I remember, and I coined this word, there was a vengeance spending. Yes. People, were so fed up of staying at their homes and not having spent, they would just go and buy garments, shoes, watches, not because they needed it, but it is just the fact that, I have not bought anything for last 2 years. So, I have not traveled anywhere, I have not gone out anywhere, so I want to go and spend money, I want to buy something. That vengeance buying was happening in the December month. And I am sure that it is soon to come again, and people will start spending more on the retail, which will help the retail sector probably by the end of February. I think I am very, very optimistic about that.
Okay. Now I would like to, anyway, closing of books is always chartered accountant's job. So I would like to go to Rohan and then Gaurav, like sort of ending because ultimately it's money, finance, business, economy. How is it going to affect the common person? How should it affect? And how the people can take best advantage of whatever has been not only common, businesses and all, in general, whatever you all feel as experts important.
See, as far as the income tax is concerned, the government as well as the indirect taxes and direct taxes, all of them are very, very clear. They say that we will help you in all your compliances. We will give you the technology to, go ahead. All you need to be is you have to be very, very transparent with us. Just have a look at this time's budget again. If you see, they are also given a scheme this time that you can have a new return, that in case you have forgotten to put up any kind of an income, you can go ahead and pay those taxes and go ahead and file that return. This is something which was very new, and you can do this for almost 2 years from your relevant assessment year. Secondly, also what they are saying is, in case you are having any kind of an undisclosed income, okay, now this is where they are saying that if you go in for this kind of a return, there will be no problem. In case we find out that you had an undisclosed income, you will not be able to set off any kind of a losses on this. So here also, this is where they are trying to give you a kind of a clarity, saying that please be very, very transparent with your books of accounts, and we will give you that kind of an opportunity. Now there are faceless assessments which are happening. Now there are kind of MOUs which are happening where the income tax is tying up with the GST. So this kind of a MOU with different organizations is helping you to not only manually fill returns, it's also helping you to almost pre-fill the returns to an extent. This is how the government is coming up and giving its hand, and now they are asking the taxpayers, you can also please step up and do all your due compliances.
Good.
Yes, further one important point which may affect a lot of Goans, because a lot of Goans happen to be employed in the state government. There was a disparity between the NPS deduction between the state government employees and the central government employees. The central government employees were getting 14% of their deduction, and at the state level it was capped at 10%. So they have removed that disparity. they'll get more deduction that will end up with more money in their hands for more spending. So that is something which is directly there for them. And indirectly, I think just to add on to Manoj sir's point, they have very deliberately looked at the customs exemption and the taxation, import duty taxation. Wherever the products or the machinery can be made in India, they have said, now we are no longer going to give you an exemption status, we are going to charge 7.5% import duty. So that will spur manufacture of those machineries in India. That will directly lead to employment. Earlier people were just buying the machineries from abroad. And so this is going to add up directly to the common man in that sense, that anyone who can use his skills towards this kind of projects will definitely be benefited.
Yeah, thanks, Gaurav. Now to end this discussion, there are some announcements that I would like to end it and just summarize, and this is something that the GCCI itself has made, like digital rupee to be rolled out by 2023, India to launch sovereign green bonds, 5G, we know this, that ECLGS scheme extended till March 2023, e-passports, that's another very good point, I think, which for the future. I think you spoke about it earlier. Yeah.
I think, again, I would like to make a mention, we didn't talk about it, is the digital rupee.
Yes.
Because, what happens is that is the currency of the future. So now, why only depend on bitcoins and all these things? Now, our government, our RBI will have its own digital currency, a digital rupee. So I think this is a sign, it's going in the right direction. I think this should be applauded that we have going to be having this digital rupee very soon. And also the chip-based e-passport. Very few countries have thought about it. And now we are going to have it, and they call us a developing or a third world country. I think the finance minister has given a message more than enough.
Also, I think this is something that we've already discussed, urban capacity building, modernization of building bylaws, which is a must if you're going to get some sort of consistency in planning. Centers of excellence, again, we are a huge population, we need skill-based battery swapping policy also I discussed, that is again in future, electric cars, one nation, one direction, these are all, but also one last point, private sector will be encouraged to create sustainable and innovative business models for battery energy as a service, which is something that is, it's going to affect everybody, retail, it's going to tourism, everybody. So I think this probably is a forward-looking budget, but now ultimately implementation is something that we have to see how it goes. Thank you very much, and keep watching Goa 360.